Hey, how are you doing? It's me. I'm back again. Oh my God, what a busy day it's been today. How has it been for you? Where are you, by the way? Let me know, like, where are you listening in from and how's your day been? Boy, oh boy, is it wow, like we're in the waning moon phase at the moment, and the waning moon phase is all about kind of neatening up loose ends and tying them up and really making sense of things. And we've got like the new moon coming on Thursday, and also a sign change, with the sun going into the sign of Taurus and the moon on the same day. All of them square Pluto. It's really busy. And of course, it's an eclipse. And I've got beautiful Shannon from Texas. She's let me I'm taking that as permission that I can reveal who you really are whenever you come on as Open Door Heart. So thanks for being with me again, Shannon. I love having you here. I've got a hey from Tom West in London. Hey, Tom, nice to have you here. I've already recorded something a little bit earlier called Clash of the Goddesses, which it sounds like a very dramatic title, to talk all about the eclipse energy on Thursday. And of course, we're in the lead up to it. So what I wanted to talk about today was I wanted to talk about perception, because so many people, like, there's so many different things that people ask. And one of the things that, I've got some more people saying hello. I've got PB Jim. Hey, Nina, lovely to see you from the south coast of England. I've got Facebook user. Hey, Louisa Munson. Now, unfortunately, Facebook user, I don't know who you are because your name hasn't come through. I think there's a little bit of permissions that need to go on between StreamYard and Facebook. So let me know who you are, but welcome anyway. And this is my lovely cousin. Hey, Barry. And thanks for that little message you sent me on Messenger. Yes. Yeah, I'm aware of that. And I love that. So yes, this is a really interesting time. So what I wanted to do was talk a little bit about perceptions of astrology. And I'm going to be a bit naughty here, because a lot of people, when they kind of assume that, obviously I am an astrologer. When I say I'm an astrologer or I work in futures, I like to say that sometimes, people just assume that I believe in planets and I believe that the cosmos is as we're told it is. And that's where it gets a little tricky for me, because I'm not entirely sure what I believe in, to tell you the truth. Ultimately, what I'm about is about truth and storytelling, because at best, I think every healing modality, it builds up a picture. It allows us to tune into who we are. And so I like to use astrology, not to tell you a load of old bullshit, because I don't think that's helpful, to like sell you up when you're feeling really down. I don't think that's helpful. But what I really aim to do is look at the archetypes and the stories of different gods and planets and all of their sort of backstory. There's a massive back catalogue of mythology, which would make any kind of, what are those programs, where they do DNA testing on people and stuff like that, like Jerry Springer and stuff. When you actually look at the stories behind the planets and the mythology associated with them, it would raise the hair on your head. I mean, it's pretty shocking. We've also got a Facebook user. We've got my friend Brab, who's actually staying in an ashram in France at the moment. En France. How lovely. Bonsoir. Merci bien. So it's really lovely to see you, Brab, too. And Om Shanti to everyone there. So anyway, I like to, I believe in the ideas of the planets. And I think any time there is a consensus between people that Venus equals femininity and Mars equals masculinity and this, that, and the other, that consensus builds and it becomes a personality. It becomes an energy of its own. And so whether I actually believe in planets or not almost seems like a moot point. I interpret the chart as if I do indeed believe in the planets. And like I say, I really don't know. For a long time now, I don't want to believe in things unless I can actually touch them and know that they're there. But even that, I know that if I bang on this table, and you should hear it in a second. Can you hear that? You know, my eyes tell me that it's real. My fist tells me it's real. My knuckles do, sorry, because I'm not banging it with my fist like a Neanderthal. But, you know, science, like quantum physics, would tell me that that is 99.99 blah, blah, blah percent. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of it's real, and the rest of it is all space. So, like, what do I believe in? I really don't know. But I think the context around stories is really important, and it can be very, very healing. And we've got Gillian Alexander joining us from Scotland. So hello, hello. So what I'm going to do today is talk literally. First of all, I'm going to give you the forecast for tomorrow, which is pre-recorded, which gives me a chance to shuffle some cards and see if you get another meaning for how you might cope with tomorrow, and then talk about how the solar eclipse shows up in terms of like little diagrams showing you how it might look according to NASA, and then according to some other theories, and then also have a quick look at the different ways we can perceive charts, because we can see them from the perspective of us on Earth, we can see them from the perspective of the sun, and every time we make a perceptual shift, it changes our relationship to it. And I think it's kind of interest. So if you've got any questions, then just send them over. So anyway, let's have a look at tomorrow's forecast. That's for the 18th of April. And I'm going to shuffle some cards. So for Tuesday, the 18th of April, then we've got a couple of interesting things. And what really strikes me is the forecast is all about power. So how do we have power, and also where are boundaries? So where the ease and the flow is, I think, is that we've got this lovely moon in a sextile to Pluto, which really shows us where we are strong, where we feel resilient, where we have a certain level of control. Not necessarily that we are crazy, maniacal, like control freaks, like really sort of like being strict and strong and everything, but more that we are just feeling control in ourselves, so we're not needing to put it onto other people. We, at the same time as we have that, we are challenged by this square to Mars, which is really making us feel a bit threatened. It really puts our back up. It feels like people are getting too close, and that we have to defend our boundaries a little bit. So we are feeling a bit defiant because we're feeling vital and strong because of the sextile with Pluto, and at the same time we're also feeling like we need to really stake our claim on something. So that's kind of interesting. On a positive, we've got this semi-square between Venus and Jupiter, and it can get a little bit pear-shaped sometimes, because the energy of a semi-square is to struggle to find something or to strive for something. And so we've got Venus, which is about love and connection and whatnot, and on the other hand we've got Jupiter, which is about freedom and expansion. And so we're kind of struggling to feel, or struggling to love, a sense of expansion and freedom, and so there's a little bit of a disconnect, and so you may well find that what you're struggling against is yourself. So you need to probably put some boundaries in place as to what you try to achieve, and if it feels like it's a struggle, then just do something that you really like. Just sit back, relax, and just enjoy something. Find something that you really enjoy that you can easily expand into, like putting some music on and having a disco at home. I don't know, something quick and something that's uplifting. So anyway, there you go. That's Tuesday in a nutshell. Okie dokes. So I've picked 3 cards. And hello, ancient Britain. I don't think I've ever seen you on this show before. So the Aquarius gang is in the house. Where are you from? Are you actually in Britain? Anyway, welcome. So I've picked 3 cards while I was listening to myself. I'm really trying to focus on what would be useful for you tomorrow. And the first card, this is from the Mythic Tarot. I don't know if any of you got this. I've had this since I was 15, so I've had it over 30 years. First card is Temperance, this is Iris, goddess Iris, the goddess of the rainbow. And she is kind of sifting through information, and she's really thinking what is true and what is real and what is beautiful. And so she's kind of going backwards and forwards. Where things aren't truthful, then lots of stuff comes up. But this is really trying to get us to feel our balance, to find our balance, and to really get in touch with our knowing. I picked out the Three of Cups really to represent how we might be feeling tomorrow. And it's funny that I was saying it's really important to relax into something. The moment we're feeling slightly challenged, relax as much as you can. Three of Cups is a bit of a romance card, actually, but as you can see, there's a bit of a party going on there. So, it is about like self-love and self-care. And of course, a bit of bum sugar chickawawa, or whatever other people say, like getting it on. Last one, and this I think is a useful one. It's Four of Swords. It's just to take some time out, really, really give yourself some time to reflect. Don't get rushed into anything. And if you listen to the my Eclipse update, and I really, really do recommend having some time to get a third party perspective, because things are so kind of in your face at the moment. It's really hard to stay fully grounded. So anyway, and Gillian, funnily enough, talking about groundedness, Gillian is saying, haha, I am here now. Thank you. It's really nice to see you here. So let's have a look at some of these perceptions that I'm talking about. So let's get this out of the way. So just drop in some questions or comments, as they arise. But yeah, this is a great site if you want to know when your new moons, your full moons, and all the different phases of the moon are. Also, when the eclipses are. Also, when there are season changes, i.e., when you've got an equinox or a solstice. Timeanddate.com is fantastic. Also, if you're working internationally, it's really, really good at sorting out the time difference, for you and your clients. So that's perfect. So I'm on timeanddate.com a lot. And in particular, under the Sun Moon tab, you've got Eclipse, total solar eclipse. So first of all, I would absolutely recommend you go there if you want to know about this eclipse, to see the path of the eclipse, the moment of totality. It automatically, like using cookies, it knows where you are, and it will sort out it will give you all the times of when things are rising for you according to where you are based. So it's really, really good. Thank you. Thank you. I've just been bought a hippie tea by my husband, and I think he's doing a little bit of advertising here for his show. Is that on both sides? Yeah. Good morning, Portugal. If you're thinking of moving to Portugal, I would absolutely recommend you give it a go. His show is really good. I'm just going to pop something down. Yeah. So according to timeanddate.com, we've got a total solar eclipse. Now, like I say, I use the ephemeris and I use astronomical data to pull up charts and to create charts using programs. And I take it as read that these programs and the ephemeris done by astronomers, etc., I take it as read that it's correct. But until I go into outer space, or even does outer space exist, I just absolutely don't know. And I know that might sound heretical to some people, and that's absolutely fine if it does, because I'm not here to kind of get your acceptance. But I am here just to have a conversation. I'm really happy, for us all to have different viewpoints, and that's totally cool. Anyway, the NASA version, or the sort of this is the chart from timeanddate.com, sort of describing what's happening. And so according to timeanddate.com, the moon is going in front of the sun, and because of the distance that they are apart from each other and the actual relative height of the moon at the time, it's creating a shadow on Earth. And you can see in the middle, it's really, really intense. And that's where you'd see the best eclipse pictures from. And then you can see the path around it, showing what parts of the world are in darkness. And here's a different version of it. I like this a little bit more because you can really see the sort of path of where it is. And you can see as well, as the moon sort of comes into play, you get these moments where the shadows are coming in and stuff. So yeah, that's how it looks from what we've been told is the scientific viewpoint. But then I do know that there are other models, and it's not just flat Earth models either, but flat Earthists believe that the sun and moon actually rotate and spin on a plane. And they also have a model showing how these things occur, and that, I think they say that the balls are approximately the same size and they're spinning around. So there are lots and lots of different ideas. But the weird thing is, and this is the bizarre thing, and you may well remember some of this from when you were at school, that, years and years and years ago, we had this idea that the Earth was in the middle of the universe. Well, funnily enough, and that's called a geocentric model, with the Earth in the middle and then all the planets around, and then finally the stars on the outside. That is actually the model that astrologers use, believe it or not, in terms of how we draw up our charts. So here's an example of a birth chart. In fact, this is the birth chart for the actual eclipse on Thursday. So at that time, we've got the sun and the moon allegedly in the same place of the chart. And you can see that we've got Jupiter here, and we've got Chiron here. We've got the North Node, which is a mathematical point or an astronomical point. We've got all the different planets, and we've got the Earth in the middle. This is actually Earth, or this is this is what birth charts look like, in astrology. So, for instance, if you were looking up at your, if you when you're born, if you were to look up at the sky and notice the relative directions that all the different planets were in and take a snapshot, this is what they'd look like. And the assumption here is that the distances that they are away from you, like Pluto, according to NASA, are, is like the furthest reach of our solar system. And the moon is obviously closest to us. So obviously, the real time chart would look a little bit different, with Pluto right on the outside and the moon closer to the middle. But what they do is we plot it across this invisible ring around, like if we were just to spin around in a chair, one particular direction is Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and we go all the way around. It's like this, it's called the zodiac belt, or the ecliptic. And so all of the planets are charted across the ecliptic according to astronomy. So that's one model of astrology. Now we've got the heliocentric as well. So the heliocentric is what we have now been told is the truth, that the sun is in the middle, and then we've got all these different planets spinning around the outside, and that the Earth is here, and we've got the moon going around us. And actually, other planets allegedly have moons too. Like I say, and until I've been there and seen them, I don't know that they're empirically true, but that's the model with the sun in the middle. Now, astrologically, if we were to have a look at that, so some astrology programs will let you look at the heliocentric version of it. And so we take the person out of the chart, we take the event out of the chart, and we're looking at this from essentially the sun's perspective. And so this little symbol here, that's like an oval with a little cross above it, that's actually the symbol for Earth. And you'll see the moon is right beside it. And according to heliocentric charts, the sun and moon are exactly in the same space, in the new moon position and in the full moon position. And then when the moon is square to the Earth, using a usual calculation, they've got about a little degree between them. So they are always very, very close together. And you'll see, in fact, let me just put them side by side so you can see the difference of them. Oh, there's something else to show you as well. So we've got the total, these are the total solar eclipse charts from the heliocentric and the geocentric view. So this is our view from Earth. This is how it appears to us from Earth, that the sun and moon are kind of together. And they're really, really close to Jupiter and Chiron. They're in a square to Pluto from our astronomical calculations. Now, from the perspective of the sun, if the sun was looking at the direction of Earth and the moon, funnily enough, they are still in a square with Pluto, but it doesn't always work that the same relative distances between the planets transcribe in the same way when you're looking at it from the perspective of the sun. Now, let me just see if there's a couple of comments or questions, because I imagine this is bringing up a few thoughts, because a lot of people are like, ooh, that I would dare like mention anything other than just like NASA is God. Anyway, we're from the northwest of the USA, feeling some hallucinogenic springtime weather. The grass seems magical today. Oh, ancient Britain. I love the cut of your jib. It's amazing. Barry saying he's such a sweetie. I think that's my husband you're talking about, isn't it? And I've got a comment. Something about this eclipse gave me the vibe of an earthquake over its path going through Australia and Southeast Asia. Hope I'm wrong. Ooh, well, do you know what? Akolu 21. Thank you for joining me, by the way. There is a higher, I think there have been studies where people have looked at the evidence of earthquakes within 2 weeks of the eclipses, and sort of earth events are much, much higher. This is a really intense earthquake. An intense eclipse, and it's in the sign of Aries, which is pretty sort of angry. Jupiter is there and is still lightly in a conjunction with Chiron. And I did a recording very, very recently where I was talking about Jupiter and Chiron. And in the years when they come together, there is a higher incidence of earthquakes and earth changes, in particular tidal waves and things like that. And also there's a higher level of world pain, like there's massive disasters. And it was not a big surprise to hear about the Turkey earthquake. Whether these are man-made or natural disasters, there is a higher incidence of disasters and rioting and things like that. And when I traced back the Chiron and Jupiter conjunction back to the last time it was in the sign of Aries, it's like one of the stronger times for earthquakes and things like that. So yeah, I'm not surprised you're saying that thing, that you have that feeling. I know around the time of eclipses, I almost get this feeling that there is an earth shudder, or I feel this kind of, I don't know, so very strange energy. I don't know who of you have actually sort of been outside as you've actually seen the sun and the moon like come together, and you see like one of them eating the other, or whatever, however it's working in the particular ones you've seen. But like animals really react to it. There is a very, very creepy and eerie feeling. I'm not surprised ancients saw it as being something that they feared as much as they may have also revered it. It's definitely one of those kind of strange things. Thank you for giving me that comment. I appreciate that. So anyway, let's have so looking at this mouse here, and using your comment, Akolu, this does seem like pretty big energy. Like this square to Pluto is really, really intense, like super intense. So yeah, that feels pretty strong. Now, it all looks very sort of busy in this chart, this worldview chart. When we look at the perspective from the sun, obviously it doesn't look like much is happening for planet Earth. Like obviously if your perception was the sun is the center of your universe and you're just looking at planet Earth, planet Earth is just like nothing. It's a bit like, if you come out of your body for a third party observation, as you rise up out of your body, all of a sudden the feelings that you might have in your body just don't seem to be that important. In fact, I was watching some kind of presentation where someone was talking about how you can disassociate from yourself. And obviously there are lots of hallucinogenic ways you can do that. But someone was talking about an experiment where you wore these special glasses that removed any evidence of your face. So like when you're looking through these glasses, you can't see your nose, you can't see the side of your face, and it actually feels like you're outside of your body. And people talking about this sort of intense detachment. I guess looking at the heliocentric chart really shows a sense of planetary detachment. And so this is quite helpful when you want to get a much bigger view of how maybe like for some people might think that like the sun represents God or universal energy, or if you wanted a slightly expanded view, you could actually read this chart in conjunction with this one. Now, there are other ways of looking at the data, and astrologers do use these as well. And this is called declinations, because if we have a look at this, like our standard model of how everything fits together, you've got the sun here, and then you've got Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and it goes on and on and on. Now, we're always seeing these pictures, and all of these planets are all at the same level. And of course, the astronomers in different, like these ones, like here we get all the data on astro.com from the Swiss ephemeris. Now it gives us the declination, like the relative height of all these planets. So it's either up or down a certain level of degrees. And so astrologers can also look at the relatedness of the planets according to height. And they notice that when things are a certain, like for instance, we've got Saturn here, and the sun and the moon all at 11 degrees, but these two are up, and then Saturn is below the level line, and they're supposed to work together. So you get other additional interpretations based on that. So if you're trying to build a picture of astrology, you might also want to consider not just like what direction are they in across the ecliptic, but also what relative height they're in. And so that sort of adds in a bit more of a picture. So there's quite a lot going on, really. And then we could actually drill it down to a more personal view. So this is the total solar eclipse in terms of its birth chart. But then you could actually look at your own birth chart. So this is my birth chart in the middle. And then I've put the coordinates of the total solar eclipse around the outside. And then based on where all these planets are featuring in my chart on Thursday. So this is me and my potentials. And then this shows where everything is on Thursday at the time of the eclipse. I can see which areas of my life are more impacted. And this is kind of what astrologers do. So we're looking, we can look at this really big scale, and then on an earthly scale, and then we really draw it down to a personal level. So, so that's why perception is so important. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you because I just think it's kind of interesting. So I got another comment. What a woman, please subscribe and share, folks. Oh, thank you so much, love. So anyway, that was, there were a few thoughts for today. I hope they were useful or interesting. I'd love to know if you've got any final comments before I say goodbye. Tomorrow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about an action plan, like how you could build your own little plan to use the energy of the eclipse. So in the video that I recorded earlier called Clash of the Goddesses, I'm actually looking at the two eclipses because they come in pairs usually. So we've got the eclipse on the 20th, which is a new moon. It's a total solar eclipse. And then 2 weeks later, we've got the full moon. And so they're like in eclipse pairs. And I've been looking at the astrology of them and giving some interpretations. But I think we can actually, use that energy to our benefit. So if you're interested in that, check out the video that I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to be doing it at 6 o'clock tomorrow. So it's 3 hours earlier than today. And I will put a show up way in advance so that you can, click the notification bell if you're interested. Julian saying, we'll need to watch that a few times. It was great. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that was useful. So anyway, thanks very much for joining me today. These are like short little bursts of astrology and a little bit of chance for us to catch up. So I'm really grateful for your presence and everything. And I hope you have a great day tomorrow. Catch you another time. Bye-bye for now. Thank you.